If you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. Embracing risk is the fuel for sustainable growth. And I want to call everybody out who's stuck in stalled decision making. It is your wake-up call that is essential to get you unstuck and get you moving in a marketplace that is leaving you behind. Welcome, everybody, to Amplify Your Marketing Message. I am your host, Campbell Rapin, and I am here to light you on fire when it comes to taking bold action. I am constantly surprised by how people think that when they become a business owner, that risk is not part of an essential equation. When in fact, the decision to make a business owner pathway your reality, you have signed up for inherent risk, but you get to manage that risk, and managing it well will be the difference between winning, sustaining, or flaming out and crashing and burning. And right now, there's so much stagnant energy in the emerging business owner space. They're reaching for it. Well, it's the politics, it's the uncertainty of tariff, it's blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, there's just as much risk today as there was 5 years ago. And if you're not managing it, you are not recognizing you must play the cards you are dealt versus waiting for things to improve, because it is up to you to create the space to win. And I'm going to show you how to do that on today's episode. So the first thing is I want you to be clear. No matter whether you are the first day in business, you've been in business 5 years, 10 years, or even 20 years, is that risk doesn't go away if you want to be here in business tomorrow. What changes is our tolerance. What changes is our commitment to ourselves to make a bold decision and then make it right, which is all about managing risk. And I say to every business owner or person who's exploring business ownership, you've got to be clear. The least risky thing you can do is bet on yourself, because you are biologically wired to keep breathing, to keep fighting, to keep figuring it out. And if you are innately stalling yourself, no wonder you feel disconnected, discombobulated, and truthfully struggling. So let's take the first piece of this puzzle, because risk is not innately good and risk is not innately bad. Risk just is. It's like your numbers in your business. They don't shame you, they don't judge you, they just are. But risk can be a true opportunity, because when you're in a competitive landscape, which is a good rule to be in, generally speaking, because if money is moving hands and there's more than one people serving clients, it means there's a demand in the marketplace. There are people, though, will have different tolerance of risks, and in friction, in economic changes, in political turmoil, there is always opportunity for the risk taker to carve out space, to get clearer on who they are, and to win disproportionately to the opportunities that were there in the past. So if you can't get your head around opportunity seeking, you will be opportunistic and you will move more quickly. And money always loves speed. So you want to move boldly. You want to first move so that you can defend and put your stake in the sand and say, this is who we are, this is what we do, we're the best known in the industry, and we're the first known. But it means that you must not do the hokey pokey. You can't take a baby risk step and then immediately take 10 steps back. And that's the problem. You have to stomach the risk. How do you do that? Well, if you see risk as opportunity and you see it as a key way that you can differentiate yourself, you must understand that you have to manage the hardest 6 inches in the business world. Those are those 6 inches between your two ears, your mind. I tell people the reason we win predictably and the reason I have made $1 billion of sales in the business marketplace is because I have been clear to bet on myself, to make a decision, and to commit to making it right. And I recognize that decisions that used to freak me out now are like breathing. I look at the ROI. I look at the return on investment. I look at the legacy I could create by being a first mover. I consider the consequences of inaction. And truthfully, I am wiring myself every day to what if this works out better than I imagined? Instead of the dialogue you hear in the media, which is the sky is falling, nothing will get better, and you're better to hunker in like a total person scared to live. I'm not into that. So I first off look at risk as an opportunity, and I look at how I can write that opportunity and ride the wave. And secondly, the reason I can move forward is not because I'm not afraid. Fear is part of business. It is part of the risk tolerance thing that goes on in our mind. But I look at how can I assess the risk. I spend time thinking about, can I be proactive in managing risk, be a first mover, or do I want to always be catching myself on fire and living in responsive energy? That is a choice. What are you choosing? If you choose to be proactive about problems and opportunistic in how you see the competitive landscape, and you commit to yourself that I will make any decision and make it right, here's how you do it. The first thing you want to do is brainstorm what's going on. You want to take as much emotion out of this as you can and get unbiased, unfiltered, and brainstorm. What's the lay of the land today? You absolutely can brainstorm. What do the pundits, the expertise, the people with bigger risk tolerance than you saying about the future that is forecasted? Note, not guaranteed, forecasted. You then want to identify options. Remember, in a brainstorming exercise here, we don't vet whether an opportunity or an option is good, bad, or indifferent. We just dump choices. And there are always choices, my friends, in every economic climate. Second thing, I need to really think through what is the likelihood of this option playing out. Because not all choices are equally likely. And the thing in our brain, the unfortunate wiring of our hard DNA, is that we will look fatalistically. We'll look for everything will be the worst case scenario. And my friends, it's just not true. You know it. I know it. So do not buy into the hard wiring. Be the intelligent being you're capable of and say, let's really look at the assessment of likelihood. And when we know the assessment of the likelihood, we need to think about what are the impacts of the consequences that I could see occurring. How does it impact me? How does it impact my team? How does it impact my clients? How does it impact our budgets? How does it impact all of the oxygen we feel about the commitment we will hold steadfast to the decision? And how can I mitigate that risk? How can I hedge for the likelihood? Could I insure it? Could I put financial backing in it? Could I shore up by resources of people or spaces? You can take a lot to this dance with you. Are you? Because if risk is an opportunity and I can think about what it is, what's the likelihood, how can I equip myself to win, what are the worst case consequences, suddenly it's a lot less scary. Which means there's no excuses for stalling. Because in a marketplace that is moving, some will hold, some will move. Some will win. Some will take consequences that are irrecoverable. And right now, I had a conversation with a prospect for our business. This was just yesterday. And they were living with the fear of, I can't invest to find clients. I don't have a budget for this. And I said, on what planet were you thinking that you would step into business ownership without ever having skin in the game? Money. A Harvard business study many years ago said that on average, regardless of your industry, a business getting off the ground takes at least $90,000, lots of them, to get operational in the first 5 years. So if you're thinking you'll get into business with zero money invested, you're crazy. It is not the norm. Does it happen? Yes, there's a percentage, but truthfully, you have to think about how will you fund your business? Because here's the truth about marketing, like attracts like. So if you're thinking, I won't put money in the game, I won't put skin in the game, I won't take risks on the journey, guess what you are attracting, my friends? People who are broke, won't invest, scared to invest, and won't take any risks. The only way that you win more opportunities is by thinking strategically and embracing risk and saying, that's who I want to hire. That's who I want to be in the room with. That is who my clients will become. And that is who I attract. And I will tell you this, it's an evolution. Because that first decision to find a budget, to commit to this dream, to make the decision and then make it right, you don't stop doing this. It doesn't get off the table of how you run your day-to-day. What changes is your assessment, your strategy, your mitigation, and your commitment. Because when I first started, I was clear. I had to have a budget to get off the ground. My first big investment in my business was $10,000. I committed to a program to get into rooms to people who took bigger risks. They were spending almost millions of dollars just to buy Zoom because they had that many people in the room. Yeah, I was in a guru space and I wasn't thinking $10,000 versus $1 million were very different, but to me, they felt a lot the same. But I made that decision and thought, I have to make this right. I have to do the exercises. I have to show up. That was me mitigating the risk, because if I could do what was told to me, I would open new doors of opportunity to walk through. Nothing happens without effort. And I will tell you, the consequences of it not working were significant. So it wasn't a viable option. I wanted to choose. But over the course of my business, I watched quickly how a $10,000 investment was not a big deal. I looked at, if I would buy that opportunity to get into that room, what could I do from an opportunity point of view? Was it a faster path? Yes. Could I make the most of it? Yes. Could I commit to reducing my risks? Yes. Could I choose to bet on myself? Yes. And as a consequence to that, my business has exponentially grown. When so many people are struggling, I'm not struggling. And I'm not struggling because you and I are playing different games. You and I are choosing different conversations around risk. The least risky thing you can do in business is to bet on yourself. If you will not put skin in the game, if you will not budget, if you will not invest, you are attracting the same. The opposite is equal true. If I can take the opportunities that I'm given, if I can create spaces to be bold, be the first mover, to receive opportunity, to manage the financial risk, to get really truthful about the probability and likelihood of something happening, and I am aware of the opportunity consequences that I could be encountering, guess what happens? I don't get derailed when they do. I go, oh yeah, I forecasted that could happen and it's happening and I know what to do. What does it actually mean in day to day? You see a freight train coming at you and you go, you're on time. It's 3:00. Let me wink at you, wave at you, watch you blow past me, and I keep moving. Right now, the stalled energy you're in is likely coming from the risk tolerance you have. You want a better outcome? Step into the risk, bet on yourself, manage expectations, and keep moving. We as human beings are innately meant to be moving. One of my tenements of business success is that it is easier to get in motion and stay there than it is to constantly do the hokey pokey. Is anything in business guaranteed? No, because in life, nothing is guaranteed. But I can guarantee this, that business and life are about a series of decisions. You think you have a problem with leads. Okay, great. I recognize that. But when we solve the leads problem, we haven't built a business. We have solved a leads problem. And if we have leads and we don't sell them, we now have a sales problem. And if we sell and serve and finalize and fix the sales problem, do we have a business? Well, we have a current client, but not a business. We have to figure out how we deliver service while looking for a next client, because one client doesn't make a business. It makes revenue. And our goal as business owners, as anybody who will tell you, is predictable revenue, because I need stable paychecks. I have to pay for my expenses. I must look for a series of clients, which means I have to have the operations in place. And when I have operations in place, now my conversation is, do I still have a business? Well, I have recurring clients, that's true, but do I have profit? And I need to solve for the profit equation. And that might mean changing who I want to attract as a lead, how we sell business, what our offers are, how we deliver it. Because the only thing that matters is not that you create revenue as a business owner, it's that you have profit to keep in the exercise. So I always think I'm in control of my risk. And when I am in a conversation with somebody who is a peer, a business owner who is struggling with their risk tolerance, who's struggling with their stagnant energy, who doesn't have the know-how to solve the leads, the sales, the operations, and the financial part of business, I want to be sure that I'm a low risk. Me, our business, as mentors, are we low risk? And the answer is always a definitive yes. We are low risk. Does it cost money? Yes. But the investment of fixing this is an exponential opportunity for our clients. It's an exponential way to manage their risk because they're not trying to figure it out all on their own. And what matters most is that we will help people identify moving opportunities, because while they're in their busy noise, we're looking at the landscape with less emotional heat. And we're looking for the patterns of success. So today, I want you to do one thing for me. Listening to this episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message, I want you to look at the risks that you have already taken and remind yourself that you are a risk taker. What opportunity, what investment, what piece of opportunity do you need to decide right now and then commit to going to make it right and doing it? Opportunity doesn't wait for you, you create it. And your commitment to creating it consistently is how you stay relevant, how you win, and how you enjoy the benefits, the fruits, the rewards of a profitable business. Reach out to me and tell me what risk you're taking today, so I can cheer you, support you, believe on you, and celebrate you. We'll see you on our next episode. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit christinecampbellrapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.